Welcome to the fastest 30 minutes in football. Play to win. Chuck Smith, Jeffrey the Edge Schechter, and our special guest star from 680 The Fan, Sandra Golden. And I want to say that all of us are definitely fully inflated.
Play to Win is being brought to you by John Foy and Associates and Kia Mall of Georgia and Mall of Georgia Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
Welcome to Play to Win with former Falcons All-Pro defensive end Chuck Smith, Fantasy Football League previews with Adam Brown, game analysis with Nikki Williams, Play to Win expert Jeffrey the Edge Schechter, medical and injury update with Dr. Andrew Lalage, and your host, Atlanta sports veteran Bob Neal.
Our college football report is being brought to you by Mall of Georgia Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Kia Mall of Georgia.
And welcome to the show. Dr. A and Adam will be along a little bit later. Nikki Williams is off this week. That means Sandra Golden is here. We're happy to have you again. And when I said fully inflated, what I was talking about, as you know, there's no discussion about this anywhere except everywhere. Unless you're under a rock, you know about that. We're going to talk about the Patriots deflated balls later. But I just want to say, when I said fully inflated, I'm talking about egos. That's
spot on.
Except for Jeffrey, who has no ego. But you do have a football.
I got my Bill Belichick football. I'm getting ready for the Super Bowl. As you see, I'm all ready. And you know what? This is good. You can put some hors d'oeuvres in there. You put some Franks, some
queso.
Put some queso in there. You can put some.
We're going to break down that entire thing. Meatballs go in there too. We're going to break down all of Deflategate a little bit later in the show. We're going to start with college football, however. And as we begin with that, there was a big story that a lot of people aren't talking about, but we always cover everything. And this is going to be very meaningful to college football players in the Power Five conferences, the Big Five. They voted this past week to institute the stipend for the cost of attendance for money to players. And I want to start with this. That's unheard of, hasn't been done before. It's extra cash because of the cost of attendance to a school. And I want to ask you, Sandra Golden, being the FSU alumnus, does not this mean a pay cut for the Florida State Seminoles?
That's hurtful. You know, it is, Bob. It's hurtful. We laugh, but literally it was a week ago today. The vote wasn't close. 79-1. 65 FBS schools were represented along with 15 student athletes. What does this mean? The Power 5 conference now with autonomy. They're going to pay the athletes anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. But you guys, what's so interesting is that it's going to be decided on by conference. So if the SEC decides their athletes are maybe worth a little something extra, they get to decide, which I think is the way it should be.
What is this going to bring on, Chuck?
Well, I think it's going to bring on even more changes when it comes to college football players, because I think this really started with college football players at Northwestern speaking out. Mm-hmm. They voiced their opinion. I just think it's good for college football. They got to figure it out. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, and they got to spread the wealth around, even if it's a small amount right now.
Jeffrey, what's your thought on that?
Depends what these kids do with the money, you know.
What are you saying? They might, I don't know.
Gambling or stuff like that?
No, they're not. No, can't do that. All right, it is time for our, don't do that. Listen to me, don't do that. All right, it's time for our college football showdown of the week. And our showdown of the week is brought to you by the Georgia Lottery, and it is the Senior Bowl. You didn't think there was a college game this week. Well, there is. This is the seniors, of course. It's in Mobile, Alabama. It's going to be on the NFL Network at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Chuck, I want to start with you because, as I recall, back in '92 in the Senior Bowl, you were the MVP.
Man. You guys.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
well,
pretty
I'm
great.
old school, man.
I thought you just say old. But that's he went old school. He was going old school. Okay.
Old school.
You know, the thing about this game is, though, it's all about money.
Yeah.
You play good, you make money at the Senior Bowl. And this is one of the few ways in this postseason of the NFL draft that they evaluate you with their eyes and not on computers. You want to make money? Ball out at the Senior Bowl.
All right, I've got a graphic here I want to show everybody, and it is some of the players who are going to be in the Senior Bowl who have something to prove. And Sandra, the one right at the top there is Nick Marshall, the quarterback at Auburn. And notice I put on the side there CB. he's going to play defensive back in the Senior
That
Bowl.
was the big story coming out of Mobile, where all the NFL teams are watching. He played cornerback at Georgia in 2011, quarterback when he switched to Auburn, obviously. He's going back to corner, and Gus Malzahn, not a big fan of it, but that was the big storyline, that Nick Marshall wants to play corner.
All right, we're going to come back in just a moment with our hometown team report, the latest from Georgia, Georgia Tech, and the Falcons' eternal coaching search.
It's a new year with great savings on all our new vehicles in Mall of Georgia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Put yourself in a 2015 Jeep Cherokee with $5,000 off MSRP. Drive one home for only $19,185. We have the 2015 Chrysler 200 with $7,000 off MSRP. Choose one for only $18,375. Or take $10,000 off MSRP on a 2014 Ram 1500 and pay only $23,920. Come see us at Mall of Georgia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or online at yourdodge.com.
Honey, what's wrong?
We won the jackpot. I know it's only 15 million.
The jackpot wasn't even in the triple digits.
I was feeling lucky.
You feel lucky now? Because we need a new dishwasher. I haven't had a mani-pedi in several weeks. How are we going to do that on 15 million?
Make it work.
We'll have to cancel the cable.
I'm so sorry.
Play Mega Millions with jackpots starting at 15 million and Powerball starting at 40 million.
There's nothing like waking up on that first cold day of winter weather and turning on your heating system only to find out it doesn't work. I'm Tommy Estes. Call Estes Services ahead of time and avoid the discomfort. With our pre-season maintenance and safety inspection, your system can be running at peak efficiency. Call us today or visit estesair.com and find out everything this inspection offers. Save energy and money with dual fuel. Call your man for all seasons at Estes.
We'll fix it at the speed of light.
Roll into the new year in a new Nissan. During Nissan's 2015 event, choose from 15 models with 0% financing for up to 60 months, plus up to $3,500 cash back. Or lease Altima just $189 per month. But hurry, the excitement may last, but 0% on 15 models won't. Offers end February 2nd. Shop at your local Nissan store or choose Nissan.com. Innovation that excites.
Hometown Team Report is being brought to you by Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, bringing a higher order of pizza to Atlanta for 40 years.
Welcome back to our hometown team report. We're going to start by talking about Georgia, and we have a special guest on that too from 680 The Fan in our regular weekly feature called 68 Seconds with 680. We have Buck Bellew on those Georgia coaching changes.
Two hot topics today. First one over in Athens with these offensive coaching staff changes for the Georgia Bulldogs. Mike Bobo out, Kurt Schottenheimer in. Think it's a great fit scheme-wise. Schottenheimer, run-first approach, believes in a balanced and pro-style attack. Sounds just like what Mark Richt is already running at Georgia. Good news for Schottenheimer, no pressure on the recruiting trail right now. Georgia won't sign a quarterback in this class. He's got to keep Eason next year. The guy on the spot is the new offensive line coach, Rob Sale. Georgia's looking to flip 3 or 4 offensive linemen in the state of Georgia before National Signing Day. Good luck with that.
All right, you saw there with Buck that there were 2 footballs laying there. That means he's back later. He said there are 2 topics. Guess which topic he's going to talk about later in our NFL segment? It's Deflategate. And by the way, it's the end of the season for Georgia and Georgia Tech. We're going to talk about Falcon coaches search coming up in just a moment. But we want to start with University of Georgia. Let's take a look at what they did in their season record. Here's Georgia, and here are the games they won. I'm going to start with Jeffrey. We're going to ask each of you to give us a grade. Jeffrey, you go first.
The Clemson game, the second half of the Clemson game, the Missouri game, and the Auburn game, that was the best team in the country. Yeah. But then there was South Carolina and there was Florida. I'll give them a B.
Give them a B. All right, Sandra, what do you grade for Georgia past season, 10 wins?
I'm going with a C, but I could have easily given an F because F begins with U of F. They ran 400 yards on you. They hung 400 on you, and you lost to your 3 big games, South Carolina, Georgia Tech, and Florida.
Yeah.
C. They underachieved.
All right, how about yourself, Grade? You're a tough grader because you're kind of a teacher, trainer, coach.
I had high expectations for Georgia just like the rest of the country. I'd give them a C. Number one, the #1 player in the country brings a scandal upon your program that totally you didn't need this year. Number 2, you lose to South Carolina, Florida, and your rival Georgia Tech ends up having a magical year. So to me, all those elements give Georgia a C this year, in my opinion.
All right, I'm going to give them a B, and the reason I'm going to give them a B is because that's the only grade available right here. And also remember, Mark Richt just got a raise. They extended his contract 2 years, $4 million. Mark Richt is getting for the University of Georgia. Now, Georgia Tech, let's take a look at what they did this year. They ended up as being the darlings of everybody at the end of the season, particularly with their big win over Georgia. So let's go right down the list here. Chuck, I'm going to start with you. Grade Georgia Tech.
I give them an A+, and it starts out with you beat your rival finally after all these years. Number 2, you develop a quarterback in Justin Thomas. Number 3, you win the Orange Bowl, and now the recruits are starting to look at Georgia Tech a little bit differently. You get a high grade from me.
All right, well said and well done. Good grade. What do you give them?
A. Justin Thomas. I'm on board with the Yellow Jackets, and for the first time since 1966, Georgia Tech and Georgia finished in the top 10. Georgia Tech 8, Georgia 9.
Wow. Jeffrey, grade, Georgia Tech.
I love Tech. I got to give it a B+ because they still got to lose to North Carolina against them. But they were great to watch, and I'm looking forward to them next year.
I'm glad you're not my professor in a college class. I'd never make the grade with this guy grading. He'd always find some reason. Now, we're going to talk about the Falcons and, as I called it earlier, their eternal coaching search. As we do our show, this is fluid always, but I think it's pretty well settled. Sandra, set us up. Where are the Falcons with their coaching?
Dan Quinn, they're hiring him in Seattle, but we can't officially say that till February 1st, which is after the Super Bowl. I think it's really interesting who they kept. Receivers coach Terry Rubisky, special teams coach Keith Armstrong, and Brian Cox, the star of Hard Knocks. They want those guys there, and the players, from what I understand, inside the building went and lobbied for them to stay.
Okay, I want to ask you, because you know this guy.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn.
Well, I think Dan Quinn is going to be a fantastic hire. He's tough. He's paid his dues. He's a big-time defensive coordinator, but I believe he's a great manager of men, and I've seen it up close in Seattle on my visit to Seattle, spending time with Dan and the staff. So I believe Dan is a great hire.
Falcons may be kind of stumbling their way towards some success here with a head coach, Dan Quinn, but we can't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. We'll be back in just a moment as we continue with Play to Win.
The Wizard, can you make me real so I can eat real mellow mushroom pizza instead of cartoon pizza?
Stand back. Here we go. Alakazam! Wiggity stickity poof!
I'm still a cartoon.
Then that'd be a no.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness.
Wiggity stickity poof.
Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
Right after I got hurt in my car wreck, the other guy's insurance company offered to fix my car, but they only offered me $750 for my injuries. And then they wanted me to sign this.
Don't sign anything until you've talked to me. I'm Attorney John Foy, the Strong Arm. You may be giving up tens of thousands of dollars by signing the insurance company's release form. Call me.
Their insurance company offered to fix my car and offer me this check for $1,000.
Don't take that check. Let me get you the money you deserve. Call on the Strong Arm.
Call Attorney John Foy, the Strong Arm.
Running any business is perpetual motion. You have to stop and look around if you want to save money. Georgia Power can help. With rebates for upgrades to lighting, energy-efficient heating and cooling systems, and other high-efficiency equipment and appliances, any business can lower their energy bill. Learn more about commercial energy efficiency programs at georgiapower.com/commercial savings.
Time for the Player Medical Report now with Dr. Andrew Lalage, or who I like to call Dr. A, who is the Chief Medical Officer of the Radiology Group and also the creator of InsideInjuries.com. Dr. A, two of the members of the Legion of Boom for the Seattle Seahawks have some injury issues.
Yes.
And let's start, first of all, with the safety, Earl Thomas.
Yeah, so Earl Thomas actually had a complete shoulder dislocation. Let's take a look at the inside the injury. This is a normal shoulder where the humeral head is articulating normally with the joint. Now, if you look at this picture, this is where it was, and now this is where it is. That is a complete dislocation. What do they do for it? they actually have to relocate it back into the joint, make sure there's no cartilage or labrum injury, and then it's usually about 2 to 4 weeks before it can completely heal. But the Super Bowl is in a week and a half, so they inject the joint for pain medication, and he should be good to go.
All right, let's talk about the guy everybody knows, of course, cornerback Richard Sherman.
Yes.
Now, he has an elbow injury. Show me
let's
what
take
that
a look
is.
at what happened. On an extended arm, if you look at the video, he gets an outside blow from another football player right directly to the elbow. So now, if you look at the actual radiograph, this is the outside, this is the inside. So he got a blow from this direction. This ligament here gets really stretched. That's the ulnar collateral ligament, or a direct hit to the lateral collateral ligament. They're both sprained. They could be sprained. He's really lucky that it didn't get completely torn. 2 to 4 weeks of healing, but again, Super Bowl.
He'll be there.
Pain injection, he'll be good to go.
And one of the Patriot players, Julian Edelman, has a hip problem. How about showing us what's going with that?
Julian Edelman, he had a hip injury, contusion to the hip. He should be good to go. No major damage internally.
All right, good to go, Julian Edelman, who is a key factor for Tom Brady. And we'll be back in just a moment on Play to Win.
We're getting ready to open our new state-of-the-art dealership, so the biggest sell-down ever continues now at Kia Mall of Georgia. Find a great selection of stylish new 2015 Kia Optimas. We've got them starting at just $16,997. Or find a new way to roll in the 2015 Kia Soul, starting at only $12,997. Great deals on your new Kia are here at Kia Mall of Georgia, 2.5 miles west of the Mall of Georgia, or online at lovemykia.com.
We've owned a few different houses through the years. Your company was absolutely the best. They were so professional. Everything they didn't get a mark on a wall or anything else. It was clean, it was friendly, and it was fun. And most of the time, moving is not fun. I'm going to give a great recommendation to Atlanta Peach Movers. It's always on time and it's always professional. There is no tree in Atlanta Peach Movers.
To schedule your move, call Atlanta Peach Movers today.
Why can't I have a slice of yours?
You're a cartoon. You can only have cartoon pizza.
It's not fair.
Look, this pie is 100% real, and you're colored ink. It's physics, man.
Well, can you buy me a beer?
I can buy you a cartoon beer. Are you single?
It's right.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness. Mellow Mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
Today's Injury Report is brought to you by John Foy and Associates. If you've been injured in an accident, be sure to call John Foy, the strong arm.
All right, time for our NFL injury list. Of course, it's for the Super Bowl, and of course, it's a week away yet, so more than a week away. So these injuries are what they're dealing with now. Let's take a look at them. First of all, for Seattle, as Dr. A has already told you, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, probable. They're going to play shoulder and elbow. Down there are the New England Patriots, Brandon Browner and Dante Hightower. They are also probably going to play. One guy who won't play, probably, and this is could be difficult for the Patriots, and that is Brian Stork, their rookie center. He is still, as of now, not practicing. We'll see whether he can make that offensive line and add depth on Super Bowl game time. And those are the NFL injuries as they regard to the Super Bowl, brought to you by John Foy and Associates. And it also means that it's now time for fantasy football, brought to you by SD Services. Who's hot and who's cold? And we bring in the guy who's always hot, and that is the young ladies are always saying hot. They mean it in a different way than I do. All right, let's talk about this. The Combine, NFL Combine, comes up February 17 to 23rd.
Yes.
This is an interesting way to look at fantasy. You've got a list of fantasy projections here that are pre-Combine projections of guys coming into the league.
So everybody wants to take a look and be the prognosticator for your favorite team on what's going on for the NFL Combine, what's going on for the NFL Draft. Well, this is a pre-list of what's going to happen with the NFL Draft.
All right, here are the quarterbacks.
Well, let's start off with Jameis Winston, who's number one on my board to start with. But it's not how you start, it's how you finish. How he's going to react with the interviews at the Combine is going to be a telltale sign.
Now, the running backs. Here you go, Melvin Gordon, Todd Gurley.
Yeah, so let's talk about Todd Gurley and his ACL. I have him number 2 on my board right now. I think he's going to stay there. He has some issues with his knee right now, so let's see if he can overcome that. And also Jay Ajayi, 6 foot, 216 pound, 1,900 yards rushing this year.
All right, how about the wide receivers?
Amari Cooper's everybody's consensus number 1 wide receiver. He has great hands, good speed, runs great routes. He's everybody's #1 consistent wide receiver.
All right, here's one that's interested me, and that are the tight ends.
So Devin Funchess from Michigan was a receiver this year at Michigan. Did a great job. But look at the two guys at 2 and 3 with the bloodlines. Nick O'Leary, Jack Nicklaus's grandson, and Max Williams, whose dad and grandfather both played in the NFL.
Right, Jack Nicklaus, of course, the golfer. So I'd rather have the NFL bloodlines
Yes,
for that sport.
absolutely.
All right, how about the O-line?
So Brandon Sheriff, everybody loves him. First-round pick, big, strong guy. But look at Leo Collins at number 6, 6'5", 315 pounds. I think he's going to be a big-time player in the NFL. Could move in the top 10 when it's all said and done.
All right, and again, as you pointed out before, the combine is going to have a lot to do where guys can
Correct.
move up or down depending on how they measure, weigh, and perform. Adam Brown, fantasy football. I love that one. Next week, defense.
Defense next week.
Put him on the spot. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Your life moves fast, so when your plumbing goes bad, we know you want it fixed fast. I'm Brian Estes, inviting you to see what we can provide with our plumbing services. We're dedicated to the same high standards of quality we've held ourselves to since 1949. From leak repairs to water pressure, from water heaters to toilet issues. Estes is dependable, proven, and ready to help. Call Estes and we'll fix it at the speed of life.
We're Estes Services. We'll fix it at the speed of life.
Honey, what's wrong?
We won the jackpot. I know, it's only 15 million.
The jackpot wasn't even in the triple digits?
I was feeling lucky.
You feel lucky now? Because we need a new dishwasher. I haven't had a mani-pedi in several weeks. How are we going to do that on 15 million?
Make it work.
We'll have to cancel the cable.
I'm so sorry.
Play Mega Millions with jackpot starting at 15 million and Powerball starting at 40 million.
The NFL Report is brought to you by the Greater Atlanta Nissan dealers. Innovation that excites.
All right, welcome back to Play to Win. Earlier in the show, you saw Buck Belue talking about Georgia and their coaches. He also had a comment to make about the big story, Deflategate. And we thought since he was the former Georgia star quarterback, you'd be interested in these comments from Buck.
Now, here's the brand new NFL football that's properly inflated. Tough to grip for the quarterback, and grip pressure is everything, especially in rainy, wet conditions. Here's the one Brady was using. You know, so the gloss is gone, easier to grip, underinflated. I think it's easier for Brady to throw this one than the one they wanted him to throw. Super Bowl should be great. Hey, go Hawks.
All right, now the first here, we are in Atlanta, of course. I'm thinking Atlanta Hawks? Seahawks, Blackhawks?
That's right.
He's talking Seahawks. He's got to be talking Seahawks because the Atlanta Hawks are basketball. And this is a football show, but I would say go Atlanta Hawks too. I think we will all agree with that.
I think so too.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Deflategate. What is your overview on the Bill Belichick and Tom Brady comments that they made about it?
Well, the Deflatriots said they didn't do anything. They said, I deny. Bill Belichick said, I didn't do anything. And Tom Brady said, I didn't look at them or touch them or see them. I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. Bob, there's no video. They're going to deny.
Denygate.
Denygate.
Deflatriots.
Deflatriots.
I like that. What do you say? You're the former player. What do you think about it?
Yeah, and I agree with Buck, Bob, and Sandra. The fact remains, it does give you a competitive advantage when you can grip a ball in the cold weather. Does it matter in this game? No. Is it overblown in my opinion? Yes. But when you cheat and you prosper, you know, America's going to call you to task.
It is true. And I know guys like Jeffrey Schechter down here who has an interest in games, doesn't want anybody messing around with it. And we had this at the beginning of the show. You brought your Bill Belichick ball back, right?
If it was October and there was like 30 some odd college games and 16 pro games, nobody would care.
More to come on that story. We're going to come back in a moment we're going to talk about the Super Bowl point spread with Jeffrey the Ed Schechter. Stay with us. Play to Win.
Roll into the new year in a new Nissan. During Nissan's 2015 event, choose from 15 models with 0% financing for up to 60 months, plus up to $3,500 cash back. Or lease Rogue just $239 per month. But hurry, the excitement may last, but 0% on 15 models won't. Offers end February 2nd. Shop at your local Nissan store or choose Nissan.com. Innovation that excites.
Right after I got hurt in my car wreck, the other guy's insurance company offered to fix my car, but they only offered me $750 for my injuries, and then they wanted me to sign this.
Don't sign anything until you've talked to me. I'm attorney John Foy, the Strong Arm. You may be giving up tens of thousands of dollars by signing the insurance company's release form. Call me.
That same day, the insurance company said they will fix my car and offered me this check for $600.
Don't take that check. Let me get you the money you deserve. Call in the strong arm.
Why can't I have a slice of yours?
You're a cartoon. You can only have cartoon pizza.
It's not fair.
Look, this pie is 100% real, and you're colored ink. It's physics, man.
Well, can you buy me a beer?
I can buy you a cartoon beer. Are you single?
It's a pride.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness. Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
Small air leaks and poor insulation can mean a big change in room temperatures. Make your home more comfortable and energy efficient and get a rebate with a home energy assessment by a participating contractor. Learn how at georgiapower.com/whole house.
Today's lightning round is brought to you by Georgia Power Company. Get energy efficient and get rebates from Georgia Power. Go to georgiapower.com.
All right, the lightning round. By the way, next week we're going to devote the entire show to Super Bowl breakdown. But right now I want to talk to Jeffrey the Ed Schechter a little bit about the point spread as of this Saturday. It's moved a little bit.
Well, last week Seattle struggled. New England looked great. Gamblers are emotional. The game started out Seattle 3-point favorite. Within 1 hour, it came to pick 'em, and now New England's a 1-point favorite. I'll pick the game next week.
All right, and we'll pick the bones clean breaking down the Super Bowl next week. Right now, I want to know what you think. Who would you take as quarterback? Start with Jeffrey, Russell Wilson or Tom Brady?
Russell Wilson with Seattle's offense, Tom Brady with New England's offense.
You're a fence straddler. And you have a deflated ball to boot. Sandra, who do you pick?
Tom Brady's prettier, but I'm taking Russell Wilson.
How about yourself?
Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he's going to take the air out. He can literally.
Oh,
I like Tom Brady.
Little projection for next week. I thought you were going to say Aaron Rodgers, but that's right. Green Bay's not in. The Seahawks are.
You got me.
All right, I want to, by the way, take this moment to thank the people at Chattahoochee Tech. This is where we record our show. It is a fantastic group of people led by Ian Feinberg and Jim Townley, and we have some great students and pros who work on the show with us. And by the way, we'll give you a round of applause. A great show, and we want to thank the Chattahoochee Tech people who show up big even the people in the control room. There's Ian right in the middle. He's the man who runs things for the television department here at Chattahoochee Tech, and they do a great job in roll out here. That's what I'm telling you. All right, we'll see you next week. Break down the Super Bowl. On behalf of everybody, Bob, bye.
Today's show has been brought to you by Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers and the Greater Atlanta Nissan Dealers.